We're Nicki and Carlo and we live in Positano, Italy, except we also just bought a house in Tuscany, which we're currently renovating, so we live there too. Join us as we turn this house and olive grove into a dream home and get to grips with living in two different parts of Italy. The Amalfi Coast and Tuscany, two very beautiful areas in Italy, and we are lucky enough to now call both of them home. Only 6 hours drive from one to the other, but quite different living experiences. Life definitely seems to be easier in Tuscany. Today we touch on some of the advantages and disadvantages we found. This week we have all sorts of things to share with you. I have a few questions that I'm answering which go together actually with some of the bits that we filmed, so that's really good. First of all, I've got to figure out how I'm going to get all the bits together in one cohesive video because we have all sorts of things happening. So we'd filmed a bit with Marie and Lorenzo about 2 weeks ago, which didn't fit into last week's video. So I'm going to weave that into this week's video. And also Carlo is currently not here. He's had to go back to Positano. And I think he's filmed a couple of things while he's been there, which he's currently sending me. So I haven't seen them yet, and I'm not sure what they are, and I'm not sure how they're going to fit into this video. So you're just going to have to bear with us. But I thought I would start with a question that we had, which leads on to one little piece that we did earlier. So we were asked, what is the shopping like here compared to Positano? Obviously, it's much easier because I don't have to carry it down the steps. But other than that, what's it like? So shopping in this area is very, very easy. There are convenient supermarkets within 10 to 15 minutes drive, and they all have big car parks outside with spaces to park. So in Positano we don't have supermarkets. Our nearest supermarket is in Piano di Sorrento, and there's another one in Sorrento, and they do have car parks, but they're very, very small car parks, and they're very, very crammed together. So to come here and to be able to actually park easily in a car park is an absolute luxury for us, other than the fact that we can drive the shopping right to the front of the house, and that's another luxury. But there are also markets here. So we went to a market in a town near Maria and Lorenzo a while back and picked up some vegetables and some polenta and some cheeses, and that was really nice. So in Livorno there's this big undercover food market which is really well known, and it's got some really lovely stalls in it. So we went along and had a good look around and bought a few things there. We actually ended up doing our weekly shopping there. We're in Livorno. We've come to have a wander around with Maria and Lorenzo. Maria is a great tour guide, so we'll get a full guided tour from her today. We're currently in the marketplace, which is a huge indoor marketplace with lots of stalls. There's a fish area, a butcher area, vegetables, toys, everything you can imagine. But first, coffee.
E grazie mille.
Grazie. Tanto un caffè ci vuole.
This is apparently the place for homemade pasta.
Questi cotti come li fai a forno?
Questi vanno direttamente in teglia, besciamella, ragù e parmigiano. 20 minuti.
Ti faccio in padella direttamente?
No, io li faccio direttamente in teglia e metto in forno.
In forno, bravo.
Sì.
Me ne dai 6.
Guarda questo!
You may never have seen this before. Tagliatelle with bitter cocoa. And this we would serve with a ragu made from game meat, so cinghiale, wild boar, something like that.
Guarda qui amore, bistecche di melenzana, cotto e fontino.
Interessante, oh.
Cotto significa prosciutto cotto.
Sì, sì.
E fontina? A cheese?
Fontina è un formaggio piemontese.
Sì, 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 non d'Italia.
pasta polpetti al bacon.
Anche la polpetta e bacon, guarda qui. Mi facevano le cazziate perché da bambino me la mangiavo più cruda che poi. Mi dicevano che poi mi faceva male, ma quando male?
Quando va?
Ma mai fatto male.
No, vedrai.
No, la ciccia cruda è buonissima.
Eh sì.
Lorenzo is taking me to see the eggs of Livorno because apparently Livorno eggs are famous all around Italy. Uova, eggs. So the Livorno eggs are famous and they're actually known in English because Livorno in English is leghorn. So the leghorn chickens obviously maybe originally came from Livorno.
E dammene 12 allora, vai.
Sì, sì.
Allora, noi me ne fa 4, 5.
So we're in this little bar and we're having a Livornese tradition called a cinque which is
Basically bread and torta.
she said cake, but it's not cake apparently. So I'm highly confused. Confused? That's not right. I know what you mean. I thought we were having cake, but we're not having
Okay,
cake.
it's not torta, it's actually a chickpea flan and it's only called torta here in Livorno. The other word for it is, I have to be careful, cicina. But we don't say that in Livorno.
In Pisa, we're very territorial here. And apparently the drink that you have with it is called spuma. It looks like iced tea. I don't know what it is about. So okay. Carlo, how's the spuma?
Sembra un tè frizzante con sapore. No,
Farina di ceci.
farina di ceci. Farina di ceci.
No, per mangi, è la spuma.
So this is what we have. It is a baguette with a filling of eggplant and chickpea flour frittata or something like that.
E poi c'è qualcosa di estremamente diverso da mangiare. Farina di ceci, melanzane e la spuma.
We've just come back into the market to this store here which has all sorts of yummy things, and we've got a whole selection to go and eat somewhere else. Okay, Carlo has a poncha livornese, which is a coffee with lemon or something. Sounds disgusting. I have the cakes, and this is what we have. Of course, we're not going to eat them all now, but we've got all sorts of things to try. So these ones are like a crunchy biscuit full of Nutella. These are aragosta with white chocolate.
No, aragosta.
Aragostina.
Aragosta. Cote d'aragosta.
Little lobster tails with white chocolate in them. These have wild berry jam in them. There's some little cannoli with lemon and chocolate and white chocolate. And we're going to have a sugar overload.
Fantastic.
Who wants what?
Ok,
E questo è il ponce livornese, which is coffee, sugar. Lorenzo, cosa c'è dentro questo?
Rum.
Rum sassolino.
Sì.
Sì, sassolino, so a rum, and as Nicki said before, lemon peel.
And another question was, how far away are we from the sea and from the beach? It's about 45 minutes to the nearest coastline, and there's a long stretch of coastline that extends from the Marina di Pisa all the way down to Livorno and way past Livorno, where there's some lovely little rocky beaches and stuff. We explored it a bit in August last year, and actually that day that we went to the market with Maria and Lorenzo, we also had a little walk along the seafront as well. We've now come down to the seafront and we're taking a walk along the promenade, which is actually really long. It's a really good place to go for a run or a cycle or a walk. And we've come to this little area here where there's these memorial stones. Anyone can put a stone in the water with the name of somebody who is dear to them, and they just sit there under the water and people come along and sit and reflect and think and remember. It's a lovely thing to do.
could be Wales or Cornwall, couldn't it?
It could be, yeah.
Siamo già stati qua ad agosto l'anno scorso e oggi è un po' diverso, il cielo è grigio e non c'è sole, fa anche un po' freschetto, però è bello uguale.
This beach is full of driftwood, and I've just come down to have a look, and I found this piece here, which is not a it is not a stick for Indy. Look, this is a stick for Indy. This is a stick. There we go. I think we can make something very special out of this if Indy doesn't eat it first.
No, preferisce quello lì, quello grande.
No, it's for money. Let's see what else we can find.
Allora lo prendi, lo portiamo a casa?
For me. Look, you can have this one. Yeah, that's good. Here. Well, we've picked up.
You know, like Foxy Stones or something. What do you think?
Probably, yeah. Everybody's got in on it now. Everybody's finding things that could be useful.
I'll find a use for it.
And we've got,
Sì, ma questo non è la legna per il fuoco, questo faremo qualcosa di artistico.
yeah, we'll see what we can do with these. We can get them back to the car.
Ah, niente come il mare di poi lisciare così.
Yeah.
Togliere la pelle e farlo diventare così liscio. E dopo 15 minuti di questi cosi sulle spalle non sono così pesanti, ma adesso pesano però.
I've also been getting lots of questions, people concerned about the dogs. So let's take a walk around and I will answer those questions. First of all, is it dangerous at night with the wild boars for the dogs? Well, yes, of course it is. Wild boars can attack dogs and it could be extremely dangerous. Do we let the dogs out at night? Yes, currently the dogs, we do let them out at night to go to the bathroom, and we are very lucky because we can let them out the back. Now, another question is, why don't you fence in part of the garden? Because we don't need to, because it has already been done for us. So there is this whole area here. So the back of the garden is completely fenced in. You can see it here. And it goes all the way around. It's quite a nice big area and it's all completely fenced in, so the dogs can't get out here. So at night time I let them out into this part of the garden and they do what they need to do, and then they come back in with me and I'm out here with them. So yes, we don't let them out into the valley or into the woods or the olive groves at night because there could be wild boars and deer, and knowing Indy, she'd be off and we'd never see her again.
Vi starete chiedendo come mai sono a Positano. È successo che mio padre ha avuto bisogno di un piccolo intervento chirurgico in ospedale, very near to Positano, half an hour on the car more or less, because Positano don't have a hospital. In questo momento sta bene, il problema è stato risolto, lui ha bisogno solo di recuperare le forze e ho approfittato anche per sistemare il giardino, incontrare persone, incontrare la famiglia. Ieri sera sono stato in ospedale con lui, ho fatto compagnia tutta la notte, lui era calmo, era tranquillo. Appena papà sarà ristabilito tornerò in Toscana. I want to come back because I understand my dad and my family need you support. Even we are 5 brothers and everyone giving time for my dad, for my mom also. We are a very close family, like a normal Italian family. Some people ask how manage the old age with so many steps. Yes, this is a very hard problem. Mostly the people when becoming very old, if don't have any chance to go out because the body is not able to climb so many steps. Mostly the people remain at home. I know this is a very ugly things. I know for people live in a normal flat space with the car outside the door, seem very strange this. But this is the Positano reality. We are in Positano, we have a lot of steps, and we find the way to manage this. We are very close even with the neighbor. When someone have a problem, everyone try to help, try to have a time to help the neighbor or the parents. Approfitterò in questi giorni di stare anche con le persone, con la famiglia, con i miei amici, sistemare un po' la casa, fare tutte quelle cose che si fanno dopo un mese che non si è stato a casa.
Another question. Why don't you get air tags and put them on your dog's collars? Because we have already done that over a year ago. Indy has, Holly doesn't need one. Indy, what are you doing over there? Come here. There we go. Indy has an air tag on her collar already, and it works very well when there's a phone signal. Unfortunately, in rural Tuscany, there is not always a phone signal, so it doesn't always work. So quite a few of the areas around here, like down in the valley and in the woods, there's no phone signals, so obviously it's not going to work there. Now we interrupt this Q&A because I've just come down the end of the garden, and the tortoises that the previous owners left us, maybe in replace of the kitchen and the sinks and the walls that they took, they left us 5 tortoises, are actually coming out of hibernation. So there's 2 of them awake at the moment. There were 4 of them awake the other day, so I started feeding them with some dandelion leaves. I gave them some apple the other day, that's all gone. I've gave them some tomatoes. They obviously don't like tomatoes because they've left them, so I'll probably have to bring them some food. So let's get back to the house. Another question I've been asked a lot is ticks. What about ticks? And I do get asked that when we're in Positano as well. So there seems to be quite a difference. When we're on the Amalfi Coast, there really aren't too many ticks. We give them a pill every month. It's called NexGuard. And we give them one little pill every month, and that seems to do it. They don't seem to get bothered by ticks at all. We've noticed that here there's a lot more ticks around. There's deer ticks and other ticks that can be dangerous. So we have actually ordered these special collars. I can't remember the name of them. Celine's told me about them, but everybody seems to have them on their dogs here, and they cost about €33 for this collar, and they last for about 9 months, I think. So they should be arriving in the next day or so, and we will be putting them on both Holly and Indy to protect them from ticks. The other question, which I've been asked quite a lot, which I could find quite offensive, but I won't, is that how could we have abandoned our blind cat in Positano? Well, of course we haven't abandoned our blind cat in Positano. Now, thinking about it sensibly, she's blind, he is blind, Itty Bitty Kitty is blind. There's no way we could have brought him here with us. He would never be able to learn his way around. It's far too big a property, and he is so at home where he is. He knows every inch of the house and the garden and the surrounding areas. He can walk around quite happily. If we brought him here, he wouldn't have a clue where he was, and it would be extremely mean. Now, I think a lot of people might not realise that our property in Positano is not just us living there. There is also Carlo's nephew and his wife who live on the floor above us. They have 2 cats and a dog, not my puppy, if you remember, and not my cat, and not my kitten, as we called them once. Are you coming? Oh no, you're outside the gate, aren't you? So they have been looking after Itty Bitty Kitty, and also Sky and Tommaso. Sky and Nicola have been looking after Itty Bitty Kitty when they've been here, and Luca is in the garden every day. So Itty Bitty Kitty has been in very good company and is being extremely well looked after, and we haven't abandoned him. In fact, Carlo's back there now, so Carlo's with him.
Buongiorno. Sì, mi sono appena svegliato. Kitty mi ha svegliato. Lei viene nel letto, si struscia addosso e fa i rumori che fanno i gatti, no? Quel classico rumore. E poi inizia a fare miau, miau. Vuole mangiare. Adesso è qua fuori dalla porta, io la devo far mangiare, piccolina. Ve la faccio vedere. Chi c'è? Chi vuoi? Chi vuoi? Vuoi mangiare? Vuoi mangiare? Adesso tocca anche a me fare colazione. Questa è una cosa che può sembrare disgustosa, io non lo so se Nicki ve la farà vedere, ma io amo pane, burro, marmellata, cappuccino, inside.
Another question that I've been asked just a couple of times by a couple of people who've maybe been thinking and wondering about it is, if Carlo's gone back to Positano, how are you getting around? Is there a taxi service? Are there Ubers? How are you getting around? Well, so just before Carlo left, and really I think it was only about 3 or 4 days before Carlo had to drive back to England, he actually bought himself a new car. He has wanted, as he mentioned in last week's video, for ages he's wanted a 4x4.
Dovremmo quasi comprare un vecchio 4x4.
Something that he can drive around on the property and fill up with chopped wood and put the dogs in and get mucky. So he wanted to get a old, second-hand, extremely cheap 4x4, and he found one. So that is how I've been getting around. I've got to grips with driving this beast compared to our little Audi, and I'm absolutely loving it. And there it is. No.
No, che quella è automatica, hai capito? Sì, che cambia la sì, e ti dimentichi.
So we only took a little bit of video when we were picking it up. We weren't really in filming mode that day, I don't think. I did remember to do a little bit, but then we forgot again. And I think Carlo managed to film something of me driving it for the first time, although I don't even know if he did because I was concentrating on driving. But yes, it's a Suzuki Gran Vitara, and it is absolutely fine to drive. It's quite rattly and loud inside, but it's good fun, and I'm glad that I've got it because I don't know how I would be doing the shopping without it. Finally got the shelf up in the spare room, and it is more or less ready, although I did buy the wrong size lampshades for the lamps, so I need to get some bigger ones at some point, but I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. Also need another chair that fits there better.
La pasta molto meglio. In questo momento c'è uno dei miei fratelli in ospedale. Noi siamo in 5 con me e quindi possiamo scambiarci i giorni, la sera, il giorno, per fargli compagnia e stare vicino a lui. Ho fatto tante cose in questi giorni, ne farò ancora. Io sono una persona, non ce la faccio a stare senza fare niente, ma anche io, come tutti, ho bisogno un po' di riposarmi, e quindi adesso andremo in spiaggia insieme. If someone is curious if I miss the sea, yes, I miss the sea. I love the sea. I love Positano, and if Nicki is my amore, my love, Positano is my lover. I am very happy to born here in this beautiful place. I love everything on Positano, including the steps. But I need to change sometime. I'm very curious person. I want to know the world. I want to know more than this world.
Somebody suggested that instead of putting our kitchen in the main room here, we move it to where the second kitchen was, which is through here. So this room was another kitchen. There was a separate apartment here, so kitchen, bedroom and bathroom, and they've ripped it all out, and we were going to make this into a TV room. Now somebody said, why don't we make it into a kitchen? We did consider that. We very, very strongly considered having the kitchen in here and having a huge living room out there. But to be honest with you, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I spend a lot of time cooking and preparing food and having people over. And to be honest with you, I don't want to be shut in a kitchen the other side of the house from where everybody else is. And I think once this kitchen is done, and we're going to have an island here with 3 or 4 seats here, and the whole kitchen's going to be over there, and then there's going to be the sofa this side and the table over here. I think once this room is done, it's going to be a beautiful room, and it's going to be the room where everybody gathers. And when everybody's gathering here, I don't want to be closed in the kitchen over the other side of the house. So we've decided to keep the kitchen in this room where I can be part of whatever's happening. Join us next week as while Carlo is away, the girls get to play. We dismantle something that Carlo loved and move everything around. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely week, everyone.